I think all we have left is casting.
I think at that point it would just be casting the stuff, which, like, is messy. And I was telling Zach that I pulled this up because it's a year old or whatever. We've been recording for so long, I don't remember if this is on camera or not, that I just ended up hating a lot of my choices. And something I've done for these types of fan casting videos in the past that I think both Zach and I did here is, like, if I couldn't come up with one myself, looking at other people's lists and, like, compiling those and whittling it down to the ones that I thought would actually work. And I find that a lot of people will cast whoever the most popular A-lister is this week in every role. And that's just obviously not what they're going to do. It's too expensive to do that. And these types of movies do like to reach back into unknowns as often as they can, I think, because it's cheap and they'll be more willing to commit to a 9-movie contract or whatever. Yeah,
or you get someone who's broken like Chris Evans was.
Yeah, that works too. But I guess I had a little bit of an order of how I laid things out here, where it's like Batman and the more human characters and his, like, allies and stuff moving into kind of the D-list villains working up to, like, A-listers.
Yeah, if this is the same list you sent me last year, I went, holy shit, I'm not casting all these.
Nope, that's fine.
And Graeme went into some deep cuts where I'm like, this guy's never getting on screen. Like, if he does, it's our dream of a villain getting punked in the first scene of a movie.
But I did this with, like, the Spider-Man fan cast movie, where I included as many as I could because I want to be right about one of them. I want like Spider-Man 5 to have the character I suggested with the casting I suggested, and I can be like, I said that 7 years ago. I have no idea. That's my dream.
The shotgun approach worked.
That's precisely what's happening here. And I'm not going to speak specifically to each and every individual actor or whatever, because there's too damn much to talk about. Batman, back when this movie was, like, new, before it was 100% confirmed that they were looking for a young Batman, I had said Tamo Pennicott, which is, like, he's super unknown. He super looks the part. He's very dour. I think he's super cool. I had Anson Mount, who is
friggin' Hell on Wheels guy?
Yeah. I thought that was maybe interesting. And then I can't remember when they made not the Incredibles, what the hell is it called? The shitty thing with Black Bolt. It did really poorly. Inhumans.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I had I'd had him in mind before they made Inhumans.
God.
I never saw Inhumans, but the reception of that single-handedly made me not want Anson Mount in this movie. But obviously they're not. Tamo, I think, would have been my number one casting, way out there pick if they were going for an older Batman. But now they're going young, and genuinely, I'm okay with Robert Pattinson. I think that's a sweet pick.
I am too.
Unexpected. He's a very great actor.
Yeah, well, when you text me going, Robert Pattinson's been cast.
Yeah, I was hoping that you were getting that information from me first.
Yeah, because I was in the gym, and I was like, who's messaging me on Facebook? And I saw it, and I'm like, my brain for a second went, shit. And then I went, wait, why am I judging him on a movie that he was cast in a franchise when he was 23, and it was called Twilight.
Yeah.
Move on, people. And
I think it was Jim Sterling. What's his name? I'm getting his name wrong. He had, like, a funny tweet that he was just like, people understand that actors
get better.
Act, right? He was like, why does anyone think he's going to play Edward Cullen when he's playing Bruce Wayne? Like, the guy has range. He's not playing the same character. Like,
and so, like, after you told me, I was like, Google. I'm like, oh, because I like to watch the internet burn because people piss me off. So I was like, I always go to comicbookmovie.com.
Oh yeah.
And the first picture they had was like, oh, Robert Pattinson cast, but it was him with like a 5 o'clock shadow, and he looked, good word choice, very dour. And I was like, oh man, I see him as Batman. And I opened it, and someone had included fan art of, I think they edited his chin into the shot of the Batman Begins one of where Bruce is like, I rattle some cages.
Yeah.
And I went, holy crap, he looks like Batman. And
He's
then
got a great jawline.
which is key to being Batman. Yeah. This is why Nicholas Hoult is not a good Batman.
I agree with that 100%. That is one reason why Nicholas Hoult is not a good Batman. But yeah, I don't like that choice.
And then there's been another photo floating around someone's edited already where it's him and he's in a suit, and he's super clean shaven, and it's like very like moody lighting, and behind him is the shadow of the bat. Mm-hmm. And last night some friends over and I mentioned Robert Pattinson being cast, and my friend Bria was like, the Twilight guy? And I pulled a picture and went, tell me he doesn't look like Batman.
I mean, besides playing a sparkly, weird, awkward, young adult vampire, the entire point of that character was that, well, one, he was a bat, so he's typecast as human bats. But
well done.
But that is
so he doesn't get the role. He has to be
a
Man
big
Bat.
part of that character is that he's brooding.
Yeah,
it's so like technically he can do that, even if it's not the version of it you want.
I have one more character beat I need to add now. If he does get the role, just to everybody, have him, like, at some random point in the first movie, like, save a girl being mugged, and you don't see who it is, and it churns, it's Kristen Stewart. Just throw money at her, do a cameo, and go, are you a vampire? And him go, no. And then just swing away. Everyone bitched about Robert Pattinson being Batman. Hugh Jackman was a Broadway guy.
Yeah, like
and people shit over that. Yeah, like...
Yeah,
give it a chance.
Heath Ledger, these all come around.
Yeah.
We gotta trust these casting people a little bit more, maybe. Yeah, like, consistently people will say Pattinson is, like, the best part of a movie, even in a bad movie, but then he does things like Good Time and High Life, where he's a legit fucking good actor. Clearly he made his money with Twilight and then disappeared in obscurity, not because he's a bad actor, but because he was like, I'm gonna do whatever weird role I want. Well, so he's been doing nothing but indie movies you've never heard of.
Didn't he even come out and say after Twilight, he goes, I want to spend, he was like, he spent like a couple years doing a bunch of indie movies. People are like, why are you doing all this? He's like, I'm literally trying to destroy my Twilight. Like,
it was like what Hannah Montana did, but more effective and less
yeah.
cringy. Yeah, because there was a thing where like a press tour where the last Twilight movie was coming out, and the guy interviewing him was like, you must be disappointed that it's coming to an end. And he was like, people will be disappointed it's coming to an end. Not me.
That might be what it was. Yeah, I think that might be the point I'm thinking of. Because, yeah, it was just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, the guy should be disassociated with it, and being Batman would be sweet. So I'm on board with that. I'd say go with that. But I did have a couple others that were like, I'm actually so convinced with Pattinson at this point that I have no faith in any of these, but they're ones that people are commonly bringing up. Nicholas Hoult, no, don't like that one. Apparently... There's some websites that are saying those two are the front runners. There's other websites that are saying there's 4 front runners. I'm trying to get all 4 fingers. Aaron Taylor Johnson, who played Marvel MCU Quicksilver.
And Kick-Ass.
I was hoping I could give you a frame of reference. Turns out you already know. And Armie Hammer, who is my Cyclops.
Lone Ranger. For the 4 people that saw that movie.
Yeah. I trust people would know who Armie Hammer is. He might be the biggest name out of those handful there. I don't have particular issues with either of those. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think, could do something unique. Armie Hammer's dope. I think the direction I want this to go with Robert Pattinson somehow is the best choice.
Go back 5 years and tell yourself that.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Although I was right there with everyone screaming super hard when I thought Ben Affleck was the worst choice imaginable. And
I was pumped for Ben Affleck, and on my list that I made last summer after me and Graeme discussed doing this, I just have Ben Affleck because I was like, please. But of the 4, Pattinson is my number 1. I think I have Robert Taylor Johnson. Oh, Armie Hammer's second. I thought he was way older till today.
Me too. He's like 32, 33.
And I think part of it was for some reason I had, because he was cast as Batman back in 2007.
Right.
In the George Miller Justice League movie.
Yeah, holy shit, I forgot. Yeah.
And
that was an interesting piece of history.
In my head, I had that movie being developed like in 2002. So I'm like, wait, they're going for a younger Batman, and they've got the 3 guys in their 30s, and then like 45-year-old Armie Hammer?
Yeah.
I was shocked to find out he's 32.
I feel like Hammer's career has been quite successful for whatever 5 or 6 straight years that I had to have been like, well, his career probably picked off when he was already 30, early 30s or whatever. But it's like, no, he got really big, really young.
He started in 2005, and he was cast in 2007 for that Justice League movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that would have been young
wild.
Batman. And then, so I have him as number 2 because he looks a bit like Bruce Wayne, and it would be nice to see him be like finally fulfill the role that he was promised years ago. Yeah. I also think Aaron Taylor Johnson would be okay. As I said to Graeme when we started this, I've been on a bad kick recently. The only TV shows and movies I've been watching are like Game of Thrones, the Marvel movies, and periodically just weird comedy shows on Netflix like Sex Education.
Yeah,
so very small list of people I've seen to draw from, so to go through lists, but not Nicholas Hoult. I'm sorry.
No, I don't see that at all.
He's a little too pretty. His jaw's a little too small.
I like his range.
He's a good actor. I like him as an actor. I don't see him as Batman.
No, not at all. I'm gonna like flash without really talking about them. Common picks that I was seeing online. I don't know. People might be curious. Jack O'Connell. Everyone was throwing that out there. Maybe he's like one of the few out of these that I'm going to give a maybe. Garrett Hedlund, borderline. Scott Eastwood. Kind of curious. I think he has. There's room for him in a superhero movie somewhere. I don't think it's Batman.
I have him as a different character.
Ryan, in this movie?
Well, in my list.
Right,
not necessarily this movie, but...
Ryan Guzman, which I don't really know him from anything, but I saw him come up a couple times. And Joe Dempsey, Gendry. Someone did a Photoshop where it was him in like the cowl or whatever, and I was like, shit, he looks it. I don't know.
I jokingly fan cast Gendry recently as a different character.
Wolverine. On this list? Oh.
Because me and a coworker got into a debate of like, basically when X-Men were coming over to Marvel officially, we were like, who do you cast as Wolverine? It's like, it's got to be young, probably an unknown, like a lesser known actor and all that. And I was just like, he's kind of short and he's kind of stocky.
Alfred. Here's in the initial when I pulled up this old list. I specifically had said keep everyone because I didn't really know what the plan was. I thought the plan was pretend that these movies were all still the same and that we were just getting a new actor for Batman. It was just like it's like recasting War Machine, but it's like on a much more impactful scale than we've ever seen in one of these movies. But I thought the same, so I just assumed like Jeremy Irons would stick around.
I had him too because I really dug him.
I thought he was cool. I think I'll never be able to not see Michael Caine now. He was too good, and so I keep trying to think of actors who could replicate that. And I don't think there is. So yeah, maybe do something unique or keep down that unique path of like Jeremy Irons.
So I had Irons like literally when I started this list last year. I saw Alfred, Jeremy Irons, just left it, but. An alternative one that I saw last night, because it's also, if you're going for younger Batman, you've got to have a somewhat younger Butler.
Well, yeah, maybe he's like 50 or 60 or something.
Yeah, because one website I was like, Ian McKellen. I'm like, no, back off. But no. Bill Nighy.
Yeah, I did see someone pull that one up. I'm okay with that.
And I think he's in his early 60s. It sticks with the British Butler thing.
He has a very like warming presence, which is funny because he was just kind of like an evil guy in Detective Pikachu a little bit, which is so super goofy.
What, he's like Detective Pikachu?
Yeah, I didn't even know that till I saw it. But yeah, I think even though I think he can play kind of a little more of a sinister side, I think like his jokey, silly side is much more what I'm used to seeing from him.
I was gonna say a good reference point of him being like the fatherly figure. It's a romantic comedy, like In Time or something.
Yeah, love that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
The Domhnall Gleeson, right? Like
yeah, he time travels.
Yeah, that is an excellent movie.
Yeah.
In a similar vein of like having someone who can be a little bit jokey and happy, because that's what the animated series Alfred was like a sarcastic dick all the time. He was awesome. Richard E. Grant, he was just in that Melissa McCarthy movie that I'm blanking on it. Sorry for What I've Done or something. I don't know. It was a really good movie. He was really good in that. I could see him pull that off. Mark Rylance could maybe be a very straight-laced Alfred. I don't know. People were casting that one a lot.
I saw that too. I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, I don't know. He kind of he had a moment a few years ago. Hugh Laurie is kind of a funny pull. He would be the jokiest Alfred we've ever seen. But I think I would probably stick somewhere in the realm of like Irons or Bill Nighy or something like that. Yeah. Jim Gordon. Would you just keep Simmons?
Yeah, he was great. An alternative one, and this is just because it's fresh in my memory, and I can picture him with a mustache. Liam Cunningham, Sir Davos Seaworth.
Ooh, I do love him in that movie a lot, or in the series a lot. It's so hard to disassociate him from that role. I don't know.
Yeah, that was the thing, because I was watching it and because I'm like, he's always like the do-good type, and I'm like, he's kind of Gordon already. He's just missing a finger.
That's an interesting one. I hadn't seen that. Everyone keeps casting Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Obviously, he would kill it. Obviously, he would do a good job. Gary Oldman is a big name to live up to. But, like, we didn't really... I felt like we didn't get enough... to see enough of Simmons to know...
Cranston's going to be too busy with the Power Ranger sequels.
Right. Yeah, he's already locked into the next 20 years of like, 14.
Please give me more. I loved it.
It's... Yeah. And, man, talk about a strong cast. When I... was casting, I think it was like the X-Men movie.
You took the Power Ranger
I did two casts. One was young cast and one was old cast, and I think I gave roles to every one of those Power Rangers. That was a great cast. Someone said Josh Brolin as Gordon, and I was like, that would be so funny if he was Thanos, Cable, and Jim Gordon.
And don't you dare forget Jonah Hex.
Oh no. I almost forgot about that one.
I've willingly watched that movie.
But if he if he was concurrently playing all three of them.
Yeah.
That was kind of a funny choice, but yeah, I don't know. Oldman's got big shoes to fill. I don't know if I want to get into like Lucius Fox and stuff. Did you have a pick for him?
No. I may have had one last year, but so when I redid this for this weekend,
you did some pretty major.
I did Penguin, Catwoman, Gordon, Alfred, because those are the rumored. Like, Catwoman and Penguin are the rumored characters for this movie.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Supposedly, yeah. And then I cast a couple other characters that, like, pie in the sky down the road.
Okay, I'm gonna lightning round a few things that... Well, what are some... Let me look at some of your pie in the sky guys.
They're just on this, but the two I had was Scott Eastwood as Dick Grayson. Because maybe you could do a twist where he doesn't adopt Dick. It's just he finds, like, another comrade.
They would be, like, the same age then, which would be... I guess that doesn't really... Like, as Nightwing?
He could be Nightwing.
Yeah.
I also had Scott Hutcherson, and then I looked at it last night and I went, no.
Or Josh Hutcherson, like the Hunger Games kid?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I had Dacre Montgomery, the Red Power Ranger, because I think he's dope and I want him to be a superhero really badly.
Yeah, he could be.
And like,
I can dig it.
he could fit in a lot of different places. I think he's a sick actor, and I'm very excited to see where he ends up. But I don't know. It would be weird to fit in Nightwing here. They would have to handle the character very differently.
And I mean, this is also somewhat casting for like down the road, who we'd like to see get stuff. This one is one of the ones that I really dug, and I don't think it would work. If this movie came out 5 years ago, it would have been perfect. A Damian Wayne, I don't know his name, but Joffrey.
Oh, Jack Gleason? No, not Jack Gleason. Maybe Jack
Yeah,
Gleason.
Jack Gleason.
Yeah.
Because it was, as I was going through this list last year, I was like, wait, Damian's a snot-nosed brat who thinks he's better than everyone. You just turn the evil down about 60%.
Right, he's still the brat.
And he's rough. It was like, he's kind of that age. I was like, that would have worked really well.
Yeah, he did like retire from acting, so maybe we'll never see that. But
Never say never.
No.
But yeah, and then because I kind of had the idea of like, man, just piss everyone off. It's not going to be Bruce Wayne in the Batman movie. It's Dick Grayson. Bruce Wayne's dad or something.
that would be pretty funny. We're already on Batman 2. Like,
yeah, and when they did that in the comic books, Dick Grayson became Batman and Damian Wayne was still Robin. But it wasn't because for the longest time it was Batman's the gruff, stern guy, and Robin's the jokey, funny, smiley guy. But with Damian Wayne, he's like, I'm better than you. I hate you all. I'm Batman. No, you're not. You're Robin. Screw you. I'm Batman. And Dick Grayson has like a smile on, and that. Like, the first time they interact with Jim Gordon, they leave, and Gordon's like, "The hell was that?" Like he's like, "Was he smiling?"
Oh, that is an interesting way to switch things up. Let's see. Maybe I'll just lightning round a few.
And if I have anyone, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Lucius Fox, Courtney B. Vance, he was cool in the OJ TV show. I didn't have any other picks for that one at all. Harvey Bullock, if they do pull him in there. Quite a few people had said Rainn Wilson. I could see it because like when he played like a detective in like a 1 season long show where he had like his beard grown out and messy hair and like he's Dwight Schrute, but like he can play like a much more serious character. But other people said maybe Dominic Lamberdosi. I don't know how to say his big long last name, but he's like a big bald muscle bound from Brooklyn kind of guy. Like if you wanted a bit more of like a dumb take on Harvey, you know, that could work. Vicki Vale. I had Ana de Marmas. Jesus, I can't say this name. Ana de Armas, which...
Oh, that's the Bond girl, isn't it? The new one?
Yeah, she's a new Bond girl. She was in, like, Blade Runner. I don't know if that's a super strong choice for Vicki Vale. I just think that she is, like, such a strong up-and-comer that they would maybe want to lock her down in some way. Maybe in a more substantial role than Vicki Vale. I don't know. Emily Browning, I think, is maybe a better choice for Vicki Vale. Either one of those could work. Did you have anyone?
I have one for Vicki Vale. And I went off the board. Because, like, Bruce has so many of these friggin' love interest characters, and they're all, like, one movie people. But Vicki Vale is the reporter, so you could set her up that she's been there for a while. And because I'd really like to see her friggin' get a role with a series that doesn't get canceled right away. Summer Glau!
Right.
Does anyone have worse luck with franchises than Summer?
What are some of her other attempts beyond Firefly?
Firefly, the Terminator Chronicles series. She was Lena Headey, because she was the Terminator. Oh. I think she was in Dollhouse, but there's been like 4 or 5 times where she's like signed up or something that gets canceled in a season. And just like, give her something.
I think I had her as maybe my Mystique, which is the thing that
that sounds familiar. Yeah.
I feel like it's very difficult for me to pick characters who I haven't already fan cast. I'm sure there's some overlap, but I very specifically tried to not be like, who's a good example? Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal can play everyone. Andy Serkis can play everyone. Yeah. I very specifically tried not to do that because I don't want to like step on my own fan cast toes.
Yeah, I was trying to take people like weren't in a bunch of superhero movies, and I failed on some of them.
That's fine. If they did Batgirl, Jane Levy, I think is basically everyone has decided that is the number one choice. Other people said Lindsay Fonseca. I don't even know who that is. It just came up a few times.
Question: when you say Batgirl, do you mean like Barbara Gordon Batgirl, or
yes?
Okay.
Is there anyone else? Who are other Batgirls? Are there?
Stephanie Brown, the girl that's going to be like the MacGuffin from the sounds of it in Birds of Prey.
Oh, like Cassandra Cain?
Yeah, thank you. I was like, why can I not think of it? And I think there's another Batgirl.
I think it's been a while since I made this, but I think Jane Levy was intended to be the Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, because I have no recollection of who Jane Levy is, but I have her on my list as Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, I think like people collectively, the internet has decided that is an excellent.
Because I had her and maybe Bryce Dallas Howard.
For like a little bit older take on it, I guess.
And for Batgirl, if we're going for like her being a slightly younger character, I saw her name this morning or last night, and I can't pronounce it, but the girl from Lady Bird.
Saoirse Ronan?
Sure.
I don't know if I'm getting it right either, but she's like Irish or something, so it's a very difficult name to get my mouth around.
I think it helped that I watched Lady Bird right around the time I made this list, and I was like, she's not bad. I could see it. She's young. Maybe we'll lock her in on a steal of a deal.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. She's an excellent actress, but I don't know. I don't know if I see that. Catwoman? So you clearly have something for this if they're rumored to be in this movie.
Yeah. So I had a couple names. I had 4 for Catwoman. The first one, I had it last summer. It was my first thought, was Natalie Dormer.
Yeah, she's on my list, actually. I had like 4, and I deleted everyone except Natalie Dormer, and then I added one. But yeah, I thought I had a bunch of good picks, and I looked at them all this morning, and I hated them all.
Because, like, again, the Game of Thrones thing, like, she can very much go between... Like, she did it in the show. You see her going from, like, the sickly sweet to a little bit sadistic and back.
And the seductress
yeah,
at all times, or, like, she can turn that off and on, too.
Yeah, and I would very much like to see if they do Catwoman, she's not an anti-hero right away. Like, maybe have her arc also take a couple movies. Personally, she's getting her own franchise, and it's adapting Ed Brubaker's comic book, because fantastic, and she's an anti-hero basically taking care of, like, the slums.
Okay.
Because that's where she grew up. But, yeah, I thought Dormer would be a good pick.
I don't know where this leads. They might make, like, their own Batverse that just, like, has its...
I wouldn't be against it.
I wouldn't either. If they lay it out properly and commit to it, like, maybe Superman shows up in one down the line or whatever, but, like, focus more on just building Batman's world rather than DC's world, you know?
I also had Ana de Armas here, just because like, she popped up on a lot of lists. I'm like, yeah, she looks like Catwoman.
Yeah, do you know what's funny is that I think I originally saw her name come up in a Catwoman one, and I was just like, it's probably something like that would be more fitting of, like, her talents as an up-and-comer, but then I stuck her as Vicki Vale because I felt good about either Natalie Dormer or Elizabeth Debicki, who played... like the leader of the Golden People in Guardians 2.
Oh, her. Okay.
That was not a very good showcase of her talents or whatever, but she's like this she's like a tall, imposing, slender... I don't know, it's weird. It's weird for someone to be that tall and slender because they're like imposing and unassuming at the same time, and like she just looks like she would have this cool, sleek agility or whatever. There was something about that I liked. She had a cool look, but... yeah.
This one might be a bit of a deep pull. I saw it on the list and I was like, once I heard their reasoning for it, I'm like, I kind of dig this. Do you watch Glow on Netflix?
It's been on my list for so long, but the like Mark Maron and that whole one,
her name's Betty Gilpin. She plays, I think, Liberty Bell in the series. She's like one of the 2 main characters, and she also has like a very
like opposite Alison Brie, or
okay. She's the baby face of the wrestling side of it. She's very conflicted. Like her life is in that series is going through ups and downs and whatnot, and she has to go from being like doing her best, like she's constantly at war with herself, especially with Alison Brie's character, and she can play a conflicted Catwoman. I was like, I can see it. The other one I
would trust your picks on this one a bit, since you're one of the few people I have ever spoken to who has a strong familiarity with Catwoman and her independent comics rather than like how she interacts directly with Batman and stuff. That's
the other one, this was again, I saw a fan cast, and it was just a photo of her, and I think it's because I had the Trail of the Catwoman series by Brubaker. She has her hair all cut off short, and it was a picture of Lauren Cohen from The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
But it was just literally her standing there in like a sports person, but her hair was cut, so she only had like the swoop thing here, and it was all super short. I'm like, holy shit, it's Catwoman. Like it just like it looked like Catwoman, and from what I remember of Walking Dead, she was a fairly decent actress.
Yeah, I think so.
I stopped after like season 2. Because the show sucks.
I think she's one of those actresses that, because she came off of a big hot show like that, would get fan cast in every movie as every character. That seems to happen a lot with the hive mind picks. But I have not seen her come up for Catwoman. I'm interested in that.
Because it was like the guy had like a list of like 10 or 11 people, and that one was like in the middle, and it was that photo I clicked on. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Okay, we got some solid Catwoman picks. I'm going to skip some of that, actually. Now I'm bouncing around into random rogues galleries.
Okay.
Unless you had someone else from, like, the human, the daily, day-to-day life side.
I mean, I had Dane DeHaan as the Red Hood and Jason Todd.
Oh, I did. Oh, shit, I do have Jason Todd on my list, actually.
You had everybody on this list.
I don't like any of my picks for it anymore, though, for Jason Todd. I had Diego Boneta, Finn Whitrock. I don't know.
I really like Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, I thought he is good.
I thought he was like the best part of Amazing Spider-Man 2.
He's wasted.
Yeah,
he's wasted there.
He was.
Yeah.
But that's it for the human characters.
I do like him.
I got all rogue gallery from here on out.
All right. Zsasz is cast as Chris Messina, which, like, I think Zsasz should be, like, loose and wild and over the top, and I've never seen Chris Messina play that. I'm curious if that's the route they're going to take. Because if they were going to do that, then someone like Jackie Earle Haley or Aaron Taylor Johnson, which is funny because Aaron Taylor Johnson's been on my list for a year, and all of a sudden he's a front runner for Batman. But yeah, I've seen they both played crazy well.
Yeah, and like the thing with Zsasz is like it's that contained crazy. That's why I've always read it. Like, he has no problem murdering people, but he's always, like, just laser focused.
Simmering below the surface or
yeah,
whatever?
like, he's a little bit nuts, but, like, when he's in the moment, it's like, oh, I'm going to kill it, and I'm going to savor this kill, basically.
Yeah, he's a freak.
Yeah, basically. And then after he kills him, scars his body.
Based on how dumb Ian McGregor looks as Black Mask, I have to assume they're also doing, like, our cool, unique take on Zsasz, so I don't expect to see the Zsasz that I've ever been familiar with.
Yeah.
The Ventriloquist.
Paul Dano.
Oh, I love Paul Dano. I always pictured the Ventriloquist as, like, an old man, though.
Yeah. But you could do a different take on it.
Yeah. I think I have Paul Dano on, like, 2 or 3 points in this list because I love him.
This was also influenced because I always remember the Ventriloquist being, like, very, like, unsure and uncomfortable and whatnot. Like, just had zero confidence. And I think right before I started making this list, I watched that Swiss Army Man.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's the Ventriloquist right there. I was like...
Oh, that's a funny pick. I think you're unique in that one. Never came across that anywhere. I had John Lithgow. I don't know if he's getting a little too old for it. There's also John Noble.
Lithgow does look like the old cartoon version.
I know. I think that's totally it. And from Dexter, he's just plays a villain incredibly well, and that has been underutilized in his career. Oh, no, never mind. Lord Farquaad. He's he's a villain through and through. Hush somehow is the next on my list. I thought I would have put him further down on the list.
Yeah, your list was kind of all over the place with the structure.
Yes,
I'm not going to lie.
this is true. Maybe I'll clean that up in post. I specifically went hunting for people who it's kind of funny. I think I pulled these from people's young Batman picks that I didn't like. I was like, I like these actors. They are not Batman. Maybe they can be Batman's best friend. So I had Josh Hartnett, because it would be funny to see Josh Hartnett come back into the spotlight of Hollywood. And this guy, Theo James, who I don't know from much, but from what I saw, I could see where people could see Batman in him somewhere, but it's not my Batman.
Happy for the hashtag. So I had two that I was like, I don't know. Hush always kind of came off as like same thing with the Pretty Boy Play Billionaire, because he technically was.
Yeah, he eventually like destroys his own face, right?
Yeah,
like, yeah.
But this is the thing. So initially I just like, screw it, Ryan Gosling and Matt Damon, because I was just like, I think at this point I was just like stretching. I'm like, it'd be interesting to see one of those two in there.
Weirdly, Matt Damon was like a common fan cast. I don't know where people were pulling that from. Oh, do you know what? Absolutely, I just realized, because Ben Affleck was Batman. Yeah. So this is back when we were going based off that and older Batman or whatever.
Now that they've got the four front runners, I think it'd be hilarious if they're like, all right, Pattinson, you're Batman. Nicholas Hoult, come on, you're Hush.
Do it.
Because when he butchers his face, he stitches it back together so he looks like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, yeah.
So it'd just be funny if they cast two Batman.
I mean, Holt can play that, like, unhinged shit. Like, he should be a villain rather than Batman. Like, I would way rather see him lean on that side. I blame the script in the movies more than anything, but he has been horribly uninteresting as Beast.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what Beast has done in those 3 movies they made, and I'm like, he injected himself once.
Yeah, I blame the movies. Professor Pig, I did have him on here, and I have one and only pick for that.
Who is your pick?
Alfred Molina, Doc Ock.
Sharlto Copley.
Oh, he's on my list like 3 times as well. I love that actor so much. Sharlto really does need to be cast in like one of these absolute batshit characters. I think he was my top Hobgoblin pick. Like,
yeah,
I want to see him be an absolute lunatic. Was that the only one?
Yeah, that's the one I had. Because I was picturing him like going unhinged during District 9, and I'm like, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, it's there. Clayface?
I didn't have anyone for Clayface.
I had Andy Serkis.
I have him for a different role.
I have Andy Serkis on the list like 4 times. There's a few actors that I have on the list frequently, not as like my top pick for every single one. They just I couldn't quite settle on who I wanted. Clayface is supposed to be like this old classically trained actor, and that really is what Andy Serkis is. And so like in the moments where he's being himself, the human, then I think Serkis could fit that well and bring something kind of special to that. And specifically, he's like going to end up in this movie or trilogy because Matt Revees.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the best fit. Someone else said Shemar Moore, and I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with his stuff. Funnily, he's voice acted Cyborg a bunch of times. That was like an interesting choice, I guess. That's a hard one to cast because like majority of the time you're going to look and sound like someone else, so it's not the main actor you cast, and it's going to be like a CGI mud monster. Yeah. So it's a hard one to. I don't know. You could do Serkis strictly and never see his human form or whatever, and then still have Serkis play another character, just like use his voice talents. Carmine Falcone, to be clear.
I had John Goodman.
Ooh, I do like Villain Goodman.
Yeah, He's great.
Fuck, I love John Goodman.
Because I saw a bunch of people saying, like, oh, he should be Gordon. Like, no, he shouldn't be. He should be a very angry, villainous man.
I wouldn't want to see... Because, like, either John Goodman is, like, the warmest, nicest teddy bear around, or he's terrifying. And Jim Gordon shouldn't be either of those two extremes.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't see that. I like that one. I had Ray Liotta, bring him back into his usual typecast from years and years ago.
That's fair.
Man-Bat.
Nothing.
Why the hell did I fan-cast Man-Bat?
I would be all on board for a Man-Bat movie. But
he can't be the entire movie, can he?
I don't know. I didn't think a talking raccoon could make me cry, but here we are.
I started rewatching the animated series like a year ago, and I made it half a season in or something, and I think either I was watching them in order, I don't know what, but I watched half a dozen episodes, or like a dozen episodes, and one of them is the Man-Bat storyline, and it is kind of cool.
Yeah, it can be well done.
Everything in that show is cool.
Yeah.
I had Charlton Copley there, and I think that's one of a few places I put him, and Doug Jones, who was like...
Yes. Yeah. I have Doug Jones later, and I've got a very specific reason why I picked him.
Okay. I didn't have a good choice for Man-Bat. Those are the only things I landed on. Mad Hatter.
I have nothing.
I
do not care about Mad Hatter.
No, this is just one of my stupid deep pulls. I basically deleted all the picks that I had, limited it down to Walton Goggins, who I really love, but maybe he'd be wasted on a character like Mad Hatter. But someone just this morning I read had Leo Bill, who I barely know. I've seen in like one thing, but man, has no one ever had the look more. Which sounds very insulting, but this guy like can be well put together, but he's played a few roles where he's very insane looking. That's where I would go there. Hugo Strange. I only have one pick here.
I have three.
Good, because this is like it's a big one. I would love to see Hugo Strange done justice on screen.
I would too. In no particular order, I have Ben Kingsley. I think he's too old. Because the thing with Hugo Strange is he's supposed to be also like he's the mind, but he also usually comes off as being a fairly imposing physical specimen.
Yeah, and I don't know if I need to see that, but like. There's like that very particular image of him or whatever with the shaved head and the big beard and he's massive.
Yeah, and he's flexing.
And I do kind of...
So
if we can achieve that, I would like to see that.
So that's where like I think Kingsley would be the good like psychological side. Just like this other choice would be also a good psychological side. Kelsey Grammer.
This is the only choice I have.
But I think the one that I would like best is Andy Serkis.
Yeah, I saw him come up a lot. And like that is one of Serkis's greatest strengths is his physicality. He is not a big dude, but when you see him like walk out or like riding a horse as Caesar or whatever, and he looks like he's 10 feet tall or whatever, right?
And
like
even still, friggin' Tom Hardy's not that big. They made him look like he was 12 feet tall in the entire Dark Knight Rises movie.
Yeah,
movie magic, baby.
Yeah. Let alone just like one actor standing on a box or whatever to make them look like they're the same height. The way that actors can carry themselves, Tom Hardy and Serkis are two of the most like physically present actors, and like. Yeah, fuck wherever I said I was going to put Serkis. Hugo Strange is a way better slot for him. Because then, man, he was wasted being killed off his claw. I would love to see that.
I'm really hoping that didn't work as well as I thought, and a bunch of people come back.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, God.
It's a messy little plot device. Now, multiverse stuff. Yeah, I think I love the look and the voice that Kelsey Grammer would bring to it. Like, obviously, that would all just fit so well. But he is also at least 60 at this point. I'm not certain. And so I have to assume he can't be large like that anymore. And so he would play a very...
Maybe the psychological side again.
Like a quiet, dark psychological side without having the... Like, if Batman, you come at me, I will punch you in the face and it will hurt.
Yeah, it's just like Doc Ock. He gets one punch and he's out.
Right. Yeah, that's a big one. I don't have a good plot to pull from to include in these movies, but I would like to see him in there. Black Mask, obviously we're getting Ian McGregor, which I don't mind. The casting I don't mind. What we've seen of it so far looks dumb to me. I had Luke Evans maybe.
Okay.
Do you remember him? He was Bard in the Hobbit movies. I'm sure there's things he's more well known for. Jonathan Rhys Meyers. That's the reference I wanted to use, but I was like, no one saw that movie.
I didn't. I just knew about it.
The one that kickstarted the Dark Universe.
Whatever, yeah.
I had Jonathan Rhys Meyers. Who the hell is that? Why can't I think of who that is right now? That's not...
I know who that is.
That's not Gimli, is it?
I think it is.
What the hell? Why did I put him on my list for that role?
I have no idea.
Maybe I meant to put him somewhere else. Nope, Jonathan Rhys Meyers is not even...
Who the hell is that?
I know I recognize him from something. Oh, he was like a backup guy in Mission Impossible 3. I just rewatched that pretty recently. What the hell else is he in? I don't understand why I picked him.
Okay.
And I had Gerard Butler. I don't even think I like that. I like Ian McGregor as a choice. Like, honestly.
So I had Ryan Gosling as my first one, and I think I specifically did that because I had probably just watched Drive. I think I had Gosling, and I just thought it'd be funny that Mask's thing is his face is all distorted, and they cast a pretty boy, and you never see his face.
I always think that there's something that I find funny about that too. Maybe you get so annoyed with the fact that all people can talk about is how handsome you are, and you're like, nah, I want to play. I don't want people to see my face. I want to just act.
I really dug him in Drive. He was super intense in that, and I'm like, I can see that with Crime Boss. But I also had Michael Keaton, as I mentioned earlier. I threw David Tennant in just for the hell of it.
Ooh, I have him elsewhere. He plays unhinged real well.
Yeah, he does.
Which is funny because, like, for at least 50% of Batman's villains, you have to be able to play this very specific personality type and unhinged. 50% of these characters at some point or other go batshit crazy, and, like, you kind of have to be able to carry that side of it, unless they alter the character a little bit, that you're a little bit more contained and reserved.
I also had Norman Reedus.
For Black Mask?
Yeah.
Dope. I like that.
Just because I kind of, like, maybe it's the thing of, like, the guy that kind of, like, dragged himself up, not unlike Scarface, and made himself into the crime lord, so he can get away with him being, like, in a New York-esque city, and he sounds like he's from Alabama or wherever.
Yeah, and then he's not, like, the clean-cut, put-together, like, Black Mask, and always in a suit and a tie or whatever. Like, he could be, like, a rough around the edges. There's got to be a good place for someone like Reedus, and Black Mask might be a good pick. Like that. Deathstroke, just let Joe Angelino do it. Just let him do it.
Yeah.
The guy, like, cares about this role in a way that I wouldn't expect most actors to.
It's getting, like, Ryan Reynolds Deadpool level.
Yeah, which is, like, funny considering the connection of those two characters.
Oh, shit, I didn't think of that. Yeah. Crap.
But, like, it's so funny that he has only ever filmed one cameo, and he's lucky to have had that, and he still is like, no, let me do this. Like, I want to do this.
Well, there was that test footage that Ben Affleck shared, like, 3 years ago.
Of him as Deathstroke?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was the first shot of him. It's just him, like, walking down a flight of stairs, and, like, the bandana's blowing, and everyone lost their shit because it looked just like Deathstroke.
That's dope. I don't know if I saw that.
Because it, like, it still had, like, the framework of, like, the camera shot around it and everything. Yeah, it was cool.
Killer Croc.
I had nothing.
We can just keep the actor. He didn't even get a chance to do anything in that movie. If he decides he's out because he's like, that was a terrible experience, because probably it was. He probably had to spend 30 hours in the makeup chair to get that, and then they did nothing with his character. You could get Dominic Purcell, like the bigger guy from Prison Break, and also the villain of Blade 3. He was Dracula, I think. I don't know. I kind of like him. But he would have to be willing to sit in a makeup chair for a long time, which I have to assume the older you get, the less you want to do. That's like a young man's thing when you're trying to build your career.
Unless you love the character and you want to do it.
Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Firefly.
Also had no one.
Oh, really? I have two that I am happy with, actually. Paul Dano.
Okay.
And Dominic Monaghan. I feel like his last name is...
Probably like Monahan.
Yeah, it's probably Monahan or something. He is...
Because I feel like I know the name, but I'm trying to blank on what he's from.
He's... either Mary or Pippin, who is also in Lost.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I keep forgetting now offhand. I think he's Pippin. Oh god, I can't remember now.
Know, man.
But there's
Second
something.
Breakfast.
Yeah, I feel like he would just be an interesting choice. That I don't know. His career just seems like it hasn't done a lot in the last while, and I think he would just have fun with it. I feel like he is confident enough in his career and where he's at and what he's done that he wouldn't be like trying to prove anything. He would just like make it an interesting character rather than trying to like steal scenes or whatever. So like through that he might steal scenes. I think either him or Paul Dano could do the same thing. Like make, in my mind, Firefly, I don't know a ton about him. I don't know if he's that interesting. It seems like he always gets disposed of super quickly and easily.
I think he's Batman's Shocker.
Yeah,
personally.
Maybe just make him a little more interesting. Bane?
Please make Dave Bautista Bane. For the love of God.
That'd be sick.
I mean, Gunn's back as Guardians, and Dave's not angry anymore, I presume.
Yeah, I would think not.
But
man, that'd be sick.
Yeah, the minute I heard James Gunn was doing Suicide Squad, and I was like, Bane was in Secret Six, and that was a kick-ass comic book.
And Bautista went from being like just a massive dude to a legit character actor nowadays. He could have had some like legit nuance to that. I mean, not that Tom Hardy didn't do great, but like I don't know, there's more to that character, you know, like. It was an interesting, unique take, and I feel like, there we go, yeah, okay.
The good Bane.
But, like, I don't want to repeatedly point to the Arkham games, because, like, they did do a lot of things really well, and I feel like I really loved Bane in those games, because he would show up, him and Batman would duke it out, Batman would win, and then Bane would be like, well, peace out, Bruce. I guess I'll get you next time.
Basically.
He just, like, knows who he is. He's, like, playing these legit mind games with him way more than... He's like, yeah, I can break your back like it's nothing, but I'd way rather fuck with you mentally.
The one I had last year was Javier Bardem, but I'd much rather have Dave Bautista.
Well, what I have is, like, he's going to have a mask on his face, right?
Yeah.
Get Nathan Jones or just some massive, imposing... Like, Nathan Jones was...
I know who Nathan
Jones
is.
Okay. Yeah, someone who's just a freak. Like, just a monster. Or you can go CGI. I don't know if you want it to be so unrealistically beefy. But, like, have him do the on-set thing and then have, like, Javier Bardem or something do the...
voice?
Yeah, because, like, the character should have that cool... like suave Spanish intelligence and layers.
So the reason why I said with Batista is because we know he can act and Bardem can act.
And he's already
Jacked
big.
as shit, and he can still take a punch. Bane in like the Nightfall series, when he was just chilling at the penthouse, wasn't wearing his gear. He was just like sitting, never had his mask on. Bane's in his own home territory. Gotcha. He never has it on.
Right. So we need someone who
can
like,
act.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nathan Jones.
If you have like Nathan Jones or whatever sitting there and having to be dubbed over, it would just be uncomfortable.
Just CG someone's head on. It's fine.
Deep fake it. The first deep faked character in a blockbuster movie. That'd be pretty funny. Yeah, there's some cool ways you can go with Bane. God damn, this list is long.
Yeah.
Deadshot, I don't know, let Will Smith keep doing it.
Yeah, that's why I said Will Smith.
While we're on that, Harley Quinn, let Margot Robbie keep doing
Margot
it.
Robbie.
Just give these people better movies. Ra's al Ghul.
So I have one that I'm sure I just took it off the list. I have no idea who he is. It says Ghassan Masoe.
Yeah, I wrote him down too because he's on everyone's fan casting list. And so I was like, who is this guy? He's like, I think he's Syrian maybe? He's like 60 or 70 years old. He has been in like 10 movies. And he has the look. He looks the part like crazy. But like, why are people assuming he's such a good pick when like he has so little reference material to go off? He's been in 10 movies and 2 of them are in English or whatever. Like, I'm shocked how everyone has jumped on that one.
I had one other name.
Okay.
Viggo Mortensen.
Those are the 2 on my list. I love Viggo so much, especially driven home for me by Green Book. He's such a strong character actor that he can like just chameleon himself into these roles. So I feel like he could do something really cool there. I saw someone else said Jason Isaacs. He's like Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah, I was like, I know the name, and I'm like, no,
yeah, I'm
too white.
He's too young. There's a lot of things wrong with that. He's cool. There's got to be a spot for him. I like him a lot as an actor, but Viggo, I think Viggo is the only choice I have that I haven't even.
That's fair.
Talia Al Ghul. I don't know, man.
I had Dormer there, but the one that I remember specifically because I looking at pictures of it was Ruth Negga. Because this is one where I was like, I'm gonna kind of lean on the internet because the names I had were Eva Green, Dormer, Negga, and Sophia Botella.
Yeah, people love fan casting her, and I never know.
And see, the thing is with Botella and Eva Green, I feel like those are castings because she kind of looks like what you'd expect for Talia Al Ghul.
Yeah.
And with Negga, the few things I saw, and again, this is me going off something from a year ago, she's a fairly strong actress, and she also, from the few photos, was like, I can buy her as Talia. She's a little bit different looking from what you'd expect of Talia, but I can buy her as her. Yeah, that's what I got for that one.
I had Eva Green because everyone throws that name out there. I know that everyone throws out Sophia, but I didn't write her down because as much as I like her, everyone is just like every femme fatale type character is Sophia Botella.
Yeah.
I also had Isa Gonzalez, who I can't remember. I feel like I must have pulled that from a website or something. Throw it on the screen. Don't recall personally what my idea was there. Scarecrow.
Jackie Earl Haley.
I had thrown him up earlier. I had 2 because I kind of like what Cillian. I would say it with a soft. Someone else the other day was like, "You mean Killian?" And I was like, "I swear his name's Cillian Murphy." I like the version of it where he was like a calm, respectable seeming guy who kind of goes more and more unhinged over time.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
So I did have Charlton Copley on there, even though I was like, I don't know if I actually see him here. My pick, if they went more that route, is Elijah Wood. The world's most unassuming guy who you would absolutely let your guard down around.
Yeah,
who fully takes advantage of that.
He's kind of already done it. Sin City.
Yeah. That like you would never in a million years see him as anything other than like your next door neighbor who lends you sugar.
Yeah. Okay, I can get on board with that.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit of a weird pick, but I had some level of hope that was maybe something.
I can dig it.
Hey, Graeme here, mid-video insert. No, I'm not cutting in for a sponsorship. We're not big enough to have brand deals. And as if the jump in continuity wasn't obvious enough by Zach not being here, the lighting being different, me obviously having like 2 weeks different worth of hair and beard. I chose to wear a white shirt instead of black. I actually gave away that other shirt because it was like way too small for me. It was kind of old, so I gave it to Goodwill. But yeah, so I couldn't even do that if I wanted to. But during our Batman Wishlist talk, we talked a lot about possibly doing a Court of Owls adaptation, and because that idea came up so recently, Lincoln March and Talon were not a part of the original list Zach and I came up with to Fancast like over a year ago. I came up with ideas, but I had stuck them in a weird place, and so I had kind of forgotten about it, which is unfortunate, so I didn't get Zach's take on this, but I can share with you now. So looking at Talon first, if we wanted to really have that martial arts focus, we could go with someone like Iko Uwe. I'm just a fan of the guy. It would be a cool opportunity to let him branch out into like a large series like this. I'm not sure how much screen time they need to give the character or how much communicating he needs to be doing alongside Batman. So it might be cool to go with just a straight ass kicker. If we wanted a more character-driven take on things, someone had suggested maybe Jared Padalecki. Obviously, he just throws on the mask and has a stunt double do all the crazy flipping and kicking. I'm not sure how strongly I felt about that one. My personal favorite pick was actually Scott Adkins. Awesome martial artist, but also a guy who has shown some acting chops. I just don't think he's been given a ton of a chance. People have maybe seen his name coming up a few times lately because he was really petitioning himself to play Batman. And sorry, Scott, I don't really see you in a role like that, but I could see you as this cool, villainous, adversarial character like Talon, with the potential of maybe being turned around and working with Batman in the future. But I could see something like that being a much better fit. I think it would be cool to slot him in there. And then we have Owlman, Lincoln March, a much more important character to really nail down the casting. People throw around Gyllenhaal like crazy. I already brought up him as an example of someone who I think it's overly fan cast. But it would be cool to have another young, top of their game actor who can completely play that physicality and the confidence and go up alongside Pattinson. I just think the two of them riffing off of each other, bouncing back and forth, that chemistry and that dynamic would be like incredible on screen. Plus Gyllenhaal can play the smooth and cool, he can play the psycho, he can explore every corner of that character, so that would be really cool. If they want someone a little more unassuming, someone who people are maybe like a teeny bit less familiar with, so you're not all distracted by like, oh, it's Jake Gyllenhaal, then maybe you could go with Aidan Turner. I was super unimpressed with the Hobbit movies, but honestly I like what he did with what he was given. And I find he has a seriousness about him that would work really well with an antagonistic character like Lincoln March. He's also only got a couple years age difference on Pattinson, so they could play around with that as him maybe being, you know, Thomas Wayne Jr. Yeah, I think that's all I have for those characters. It's a shame I'm missing the back and forth on Zach. He's going back editing this video. He's rounded out some of my worst impulses. But yeah, now let's cap things off with the last few major characters.
Poison Ivy. This is one of my off-the-board picks. Aubrey Plaza.
I so rarely see her play anything other than her, like, angry, somber, sarcastic.
Yeah, and I think what I saw with it was, like, you can just have her be kind of snarky and different, and you can maybe, like, lead in a bit to the way the original Poison Ivy movie was, or character was, or, like, in the movie where she's being held down by the man, so to speak.
It might be nice to mix it up a little bit, because just, like, a lot of the times with these castings, like how I was saying that you kind of have to be able to play unhinged a little bit. Yeah. Well, it's like if every character shares those sorts of traits, then they start becoming kind of... Yeah, exactly. And so having something like that to just bring a new flavor to the movie.
Yeah, and like it would be also different because like every time you see Poison Ivy portrayed in anything, it's always like basic porn star, like over the top, near nude, stupid curves, like very cliche comic book. And it's like, how would we cast a real human being that I believe might actually be intelligent?
Well, I guess a big part of Poison Ivy is that seductress angle.
But what you can do it with it is have it like evolve with her because you have her be introduced. Like they had Uma Thurman, like, oh, I'm the unassuming Labus. It's like, bullshit, you're Uma Thurman. Yeah. Like,
and she's speaking in that goofy voice, like that put on voice, and
also not saying this like as in Aubrey Plaza's ugly and she should be like an ugly duckling, but like,
but seductress versus like attractive is a very different. Like, and do you have that personality versus the looks? She has the looks. It would the seductress side would just have to be played very differently than what we're used to.
And I was just like, this could be a different take.
The two I had, I think, were much more in line with like the typical Evan Rachel Wood. She might be Rochelle. Evan Rachel Wood. She is the main girl in Westworld.
Okay, yeah.
In season 1 or whatever. And Alexandra Breckenridge. And I think I had more faith in that pick. Oh, I remember what she was from. She is the redhead maid in American Horror Story season 1. If you ever saw that. It's
Sure.
And the whole point of that character is that she's a redheaded seductress. So like that's typecasting to the up degree, but
Textbook definition, but if it works, it works.
yeah, I hate typecasting, and I try to avoid it with these lists, but I went with it there.
We also made a list of like 60 characters.
Yes. Now I'm getting into the ones that I start having like 5 choices for because they're too goddamn hard to narrow down. Like I'm even skipping some I had for Poison Ivy and like Riddler.
I put Matt Smith. I think David Tennant could be a good Riddler as well.
Matt Smith. Yeah, it's funny. I have David Tennant on the list. It's funny to have both doctors. I could totally see Matt Smith. David Tennant would have to be like the kooky version. You know, I guess he wouldn't have to be, but that's more likely what I would assume he would do. One that I just saw, well, I guess before I get to that, Andrew Scott, Sherlock TV series. What's the main villain that Sherlock deals with all the time? Moriarty. He's the Sherlock series Moriarty.
So I was like, Watson?
Matthew Good, who was Ozymandias in the Watchmen movie.
Okay, yeah.
Apparently he was almost Lex Luthor, which I was kind of like all of a sudden getting all caught up in that, being like, I think I want to see that. But anyways, maybe, because I picked him as Riddler, and I was looking up like past stuff about him, other roles he's done other than Ozymandias, and I came across this Lex Luthor thing, and I was too distracted by that, so he kind of fell off my list again. And then my last one, which if you want to go less insane version, not what I think Tennant or Scott would do, Domhnall Gleeson.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it, yeah.
I think he clearly has fun playing General Hux. I think he clearly enjoys being a villain and is for sure, like, he's too likable of a person to ever be typecast as a villain, so I don't think he comes to mind for people, but I think that could be fun. But Penguin?
I have 2, and it's funny because my updated list, I put 2 names down, and then I printed off this one, Breaking Overground. I'm like, oh, it's the same people.
Your updated list has the same?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, and is Penguin the other one who's supposedly maybe going to be...
because that's the thing, is the 2 rumors going on right now is either it's going to be Catwoman and Penguin, or it's going to be 6 villains.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know how it's going to go. But for the Penguin, initially I had Toby Jones as my first pick.
Yeah, yep.
And my second pick was, what's his name?
I mean, poor Toby Jones. Good actor, but he kind of... You know, you get boxed in a little bit.
Is that a joke about being a TV screen for a face?
No. I was even thinking of that. No, just like, I mean, you kind of look like this comic book character. You're going to get cast as comic book characters.
The other one I had was Timothy Spall, who was Peter Pettigrew from Harry Potter.
Right. I had that one came to mind for me as well, and I looked him up. Dude's lost a bunch of weight, like John Goodman or whatever, so he doesn't...
But that's the thing is, he has lost a bunch of weight, but there's a photo of him I saw today where even with all the weight loss, he still looked like the Penguin.
Oh yeah, like the saggy skin and stuff. Like
yeah,
adds
just like
to
his
it.
face. I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I'm moving him up to number 1 now.
Okay, I had kind of written that one off because I don't know, I just wasn't certain about that one anymore.
Penguins aren't really fat.
No, but like I guess I always just think of cue ball Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the Telltale Games version of the Penguin that was like completely different. And I'm totally okay with them adapting.
Yeah, because he was like Bruce's friend, wasn't he?
Yeah, and like he just wore this penguin mask, but otherwise he was just like a lean, clean-cut billionaire.
I haven't actually finished it yet.
I think I only played season 1 or whatever, but like I'm okay with them doing like that or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want I'm going to pretend the Gotham show doesn't exist. I'm just not even going to get into it.
Yeah.
I'm somehow completely hyper-opinionated on that and zero opinion. I couldn't care less, but I care so much. I can't talk about Gotham. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's fair.
The only reason I have this here, because I also have Toby Jones and Ray Winstone, who I just think would be like this weird aggressive bruiser version of the Penguin, and might just be kind of a unique take. I do have Andy Serkis on here, not because I think that the Penguin is the most suited to his talents.
They're going to motion capture an actual penguin.
No. I just, obviously, because it's Matt Reeves, and if they want the focus to be on the Penguin in this movie, then like Serkis can carry this movie if need be while they like find their footing or whatever. Presumably, I hope they hit the ground running. But if there's a kind
Jokes
of
on you, Serkis playing Catwoman.
Fine, I'm down. Have him motion capture everyone. Doesn't even matter. Mr. Freeze, who I would love to see. I was gonna say cool. A well done Mr. Freeze. I love you, Schwarzenegger. It's part of my 7-year-old brain still loves that movie, but we need a proper Freeze.
Who do you got? Because this is where I went off the board.
Well, the number one that people were throwing out was Stanley Tucci. I think there was one other one that people kept bringing up, another actor who just already is bald. And it's always, I understand that trap when you're trying to cast Professor Xavier or Lex Luthor. You look at actors who are already bald.
Yeah.
But it's like, anyone can shave their head. Most people, only some people look weird with a head shaved, you know?
Yes.
So I tried to think of actors outside of that. So I had Hugo Weaving. I don't know. That was something from a year ago. I don't even know if I like that one. And Clive Owen. I think Clive Owen is a badass, and he's like very serious and intense. And like, if his head is in a dome the whole time, it doesn't matter that he's kind of like aging out of that sort of stuff a little bit. It doesn't really matter what age. It doesn't matter what age he is. But man, is his voice fucking cool. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can play the empathetic side though, because like Mr. Freeze would work as a character because we would feel so sorry for him, and like you're like, yeah, he's a villain, he's doing the wrong thing, but like, man, this guy's backstory has me so invested, and I don't know if Clive can do that. Stanley Tucci might actually be a really good choice, not just because he's bald. I think as an actor, he might be a good choice.
So this
Mark Strong, that's the one everyone always throws out for bald actors.
Yeah.
Which maybe, I don't even know. He could maybe do it too. I like Mark Strong.
Rest in peace, Sinestro. Much like how I kind of was like, I just want to see Summer Glau get a role and it actually stay something. This one, I don't know if you could do like the lower register, the cold voice that. Because I'm now, as I'm thinking about it, I'm hearing Mr. Freeze's voice from the cartoon.
Oh, so good.
But Doug Jones.
Oh.
Because for two reasons. He's kind of got that long, slim build. He's got a bit of that nerdy look. And he can be quite empathetic in that, like, on the human side. Like, he was great as Abe Sapien. Because in the second one, he does voice himself, I think.
Oh, really?
Because I thought they switched. And if not, he does the voice of Abe Sapien in the cartoons.
Maybe that's what it is. Because he... Shit, now I can't remember Hellboy 2 very well. But yeah, it was definitely Niles Crane.
The first one. The first one was Niles Crane, and I thought the second one they went back to Abe Sapien. They went back to Doug Jones. I could be wrong.
I don't know what Doug Jones' voice sounds like. I know I've seen interviews with him, but I cannot picture it.
But I also thought it'd be kind of funny because he always does the guy he's always the guy in the suit and gets voice dubbed over. And you put him in a updated version of the classic animated series where he's got the dome and they can still do like the heavy lighting where it silhouettes his face, but he gets to actually show his face for a movie.
Yeah. He still is the guy in the suit with his head covered, but we give him a chance to...
Yeah. And it would just be a funny twist on the fact that his face is covered, but it's not actually covered. It's just distorted inside the mask.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting pull. Mr. Freeze would be interesting as hell if he walked into the scene like noticeably taller than everyone with like, because Batman kind of goes up against a lot of people who are big muscle heads.
Yeah.
If Freeze was not a muscular guy or whatever, which is funny because you go from bodybuilder Schwarzenegger to lean, slender.
And even like, it's like that old suit, like it was like a big ass dome. So like, it just made him look that much taller and that much more imposing.
That Mr. Freeze level of Arkham Asylum or Arkham City is still super dope. I can't remember which one it was, but like,
Arkham Asylum. Were you in the lab?
Yeah, he just has a very cool presence in that, and like...
Nope, City, because you're breaking into Gotham PD.
City?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he just has a very cool presence in that. That's what I picture when I'm thinking of, like, his voice. And, well, I think of that in the animated series, but just, like, I don't know. I like Freeze a lot as a character.
Oh, he's so good.
Two-Face. We're getting towards the end here.
On my list, I have John Hamm. I don't think I really put a lot of... I think what happened was when I was going through this, I was trying to focus on people that haven't been in movies yet.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really worrying about, like... the newer guys.
John Hamm has been fan casting this as Batman and Two-Face, like repeatedly by a lot of people. Oh, really? I've never seen that.
There was a while, like, this was back at the beginning of Mad Men, where they're like, if they make a new Superman movie, it should be John Hamm.
Yeah.
Because he looks like Alex Ross's artwork.
Okay. He is too good looking of a man, so I get why people want him in movies. I think he could be a cool Harvey Dent, because he would be, like, the most well put together... Cool. Aaron Eckhart did a good job actually. When I was thinking about like what I would want from a Two-Face, Eckhart kind of killed it. What's his name? The original or the other one?
Billy D. Williams?
No. That's funny. I get you.
Like Batman's Two-Face?
Yeah. Because he was supposed to be Two-Face in that movie, right?
Yeah. For Michael. Tim Burton, Mike.
Yeah,
Tim Burton Batman 3.
Because he was Harvey Dent in the movie, right? And he never got the chance to be Two-Face. No, what's his fucking name? Men in Black. No Country for Old Men.
Oh,
America.
Oh man,
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, let's get Tommy Lee Jones back.
Where are you? What?
No, I could see John Hamm. I think it could work. I think he does not show off his range as well as he normally could, But as goofy as Tommy Lee Jones was in that role, I don't know. When I kind of go to the Arkham games a little bit there. I really do like what they did with Two-Face, and I think John Hamm could do something like that, a little serious. I also had Guy Pearce and Ian McGregor. This is before he was cast as Black Mask, I think. I was looking for like these handsome, well put together guys who I think are very diverse, capable actors. Because I think they could very easily play like that duality.
Yeah.
But I think a cool, important part of Two-Face is that you start with like an extremely good-looking man.
Let's throw Ryan Gosling in there then. Go back with the Black Mask idea. Scar his face up.
Do you got any Two-Faces?
Just John Hamm. That was all I had. Ryan Gosling is like pulling out of thin air.
Right. I also have Oh no, I do remember why I had this. I was like, I don't remember who the hell this is. Till Schweiger. He was Hugo Stiglitz in Inglourious Bastards. He looks kind of like Aaron Eckhart, but a lot like Harvey Dent. I don't know if Two-Face is the best. I think if you chose to play crazy, I'm more insane than I am human Two-Face, then maybe Till would be a good choice. Honestly, I should have thought harder on that, because I bet there's a better role for him to play, because I think he's a cool actor. But maybe I didn't think about that one enough. And Joker, this is intimidating. I don't even know if I can appropriately pick it. Not Jared Leto. As much as I kept being like, whatever, leave Will Smith in, leave Margot Robbie in. Get rid of Jared Leto. Get rid of him.
Again, didn't hate him. I think the editing really screwed that character.
Very much the fault of the script and the directorial choices and stuff, more than his own. But the more you read about it, the more it's like, well, him and David Ayer came up with this interpretation themselves, and it did not work out. And I don't know what the character needs. I don't know where to take it, and I'm so scared to even attempt to pretend that I know better.
I mean, if you're gonna do like a younger one, can we just slap the paint on Dahan?
give him a role deserving of what he's capable of.
I mean, just typecasting get as being an unhinged villain, but yeah, if you're going for an older one, maybe they do what we said earlier, where Joaquin Phoenix, Jay Phoenix,
let him slide on in
there. He's too old, but man, William Dafoe would have been great.
That would have been a fun take. I
also
think
Jim Carrey.
I'm happy enough with his Riddler. That was flawless. I would be same thing where I was saying with like Hush or whatever. It would be funny if they took someone like Holt or Aaron Taylor Johnson and threw them the Joker. Not actors that would have come to mind for me originally, but now that they're floating around this Batman movie, I'm like, well, yeah, they both have great range and are in that same age. I don't know if Joker needs to be the same age as Batman.
I don't think so.
You can kind of pull whatever, but there's potential in both of those, more so than there is for Batman, I think.
Let's not have Chris Evans. He's got nothing to do.
Yeah, Chris Evans. That'd be really funny if he hung up the shield and became the Clown Prince of Crime. Like, where does that come from? That's left field. I had Casey Affleck as a really weird pick, and I think that also was something that people were pitching alongside like Matt Damon if we were still having Batfleck.
Yeah, I can kind of see it though.
There's something there. I know a lot of people don't really like Casey Affleck though.
Don't worry, people didn't like Ben Affleck for years, and look how that turned out.
Just in general, I mean.
You all remember Geely.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. I think they don't like him off screen. I think they think he's an asshole. I have two others. Reese Wakefield, which I'm struggling to picture. I have to Google him now. This was one. It's kind of funny because I had it on my list from a year ago, and then when I was crafting an updated list, I came across this one and thought maybe it was an okay choice. And then I realized he was already on it from last year. He has the look more so than I know if he has the chops.
Yeah, he does.
He basically throws some white paint on there and he's the Joker. I think was he in the Purge movies or something? I don't remember what he was from, but he has the look. I have no idea about acting talents, but I've never seen anyone look more Joker-like except for like professional cosplayers. And Gustav Skarsgård.
Who?
He's Floki in the Vikings TV show.
Okay. I'm thinking of Norseman.
Which is funny because I did not realize he was a Skarsgård. I did not realize how many goddamn Skarsgård brothers there are. Because like Stellan Skarsgård is like Thor 1 and 2.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's who I thought you were.
But then Bill Skarsgård is Pennywise in the new It movies. There's this like Alexander Skarsgård. He was in a TV show pretty recently. He had a big breakout there. I did not realize this guy was yet another Skarsgård. And he's kind of crazy, and he has a bit of the look. And like you would have to dress it up a lot, but he would do something original. I think. I'm
trying to think. 'Cause I haven't seen a lot of Vikings. My dad watches it.
I think I watched like 2 seasons in like one weekend and then quit. Not because I didn't like it. I just burned out.
Because he's kind of like the shorter little.
He's like
on
he's
edge
a
ones.
little weaselly little
okay.
critter running around a bunch of like big buff Vikings.
Yeah, I'm like 90% sure I know what guy you're talking about from that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I can see it.
Yeah, there's something there, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
I had Jim Carrey and William Dafoe, yeah. Like I said, as I got to the bigger names, I'm like, I'll figure it out when I get there, and then went, oh, yeah.
It's stressful casting. God, good luck to whoever it is who has to make the final decision of who Batman and Joker and like some of these larger characters are, because people are going to be... They're going to make petitions and
Took words out of my mouth.
come out in the millions to tell you why you're wrong.
But they're all going to go see your movie
Yeah, don't worry.
multiple times.
You might get $1 billion out of it, so who knows? This was 3.5 hours. What the fuck? That was, even on my larger estimate, I was just like, it'll probably take us 2 and a bit hours to cover this. God damn.
Well, like off the top, you can do what we want for a movie, what we don't want for a movie, casting the heroes, casting the villains.
Editing this is going to be fun. This video is going to come out after the actual Batman movie does.
Just throw it up now. Next summer, we're going to cast the Batman movie.
No, I'm just going to bank really hard now. All of a sudden, I'm going 180 that Matt Reeves' Batman tanks and they reboot it again. And then this video will be it for that.
We'll just come back and record ourselves saying, the new directors, what did I say, Matt Reeves?
Yeah, we should have covered our mouth every time we brought up the director. Oh man, I don't think there's anything else we could possibly talk about here.
No. we talked about everything.
I think what I'm thinking, I'm going to edit this down like crazy, and then I don't know, on Patreon or on your website if you want, you can link the full conversation if you think anyone, or I can literally just hand you the raw audio if you think you would want. You can like record a 2-minute lead in being like, hey, sat down with Graeme, we talked about this. If you want it, I don't know, man, because that's a lot of fucking footage. That's gonna be so hard to trim down. God damn it, we talked continuously for 3.5 hours.